2 years after, my husband caught me cheating with my boss. The scandal that shook my life. Subscribe for more watching videos. It's been 2 years since everything in my life changed. They say a single choice can alter the course of your life forever, but until that day, I didn't truly understand what that meant. My husband, David, and I had been married for 8 years, and for most of those years, our relationship felt like something out of a storybook. We shared a deep bond, trusted each other, and built a life together based on mutual respect. But 2 years ago, my world came crashing down in ways I never anticipated, ways I could have prevented if I had only realized the true cost of my choices. It all began when I accepted a new position at a prestigious firm. My boss, James, was charismatic and sharp, a natural leader with a magnetic presence. He had a way of making everyone feel seen, as if they were the most important person in the room. At first, I didn't think much of it. After all, he was my boss, and I was focused on doing my job well. But over time, our professional relationship started to shift, morphing into something more personal. It was innocent at first. Late nights working together on projects, coffee runs, shared jokes, and small moments that didn't feel like much. But these small things eventually led to dinners, drinks after work, and hours of conversation that drifted into territory that should have remained off-limits. I told myself it was harmless, that it was simply a strong friendship with someone who understood the pressures of my job. But deep down, I knew I was walking a fine line. One evening, after a particularly stressful day, James invited me to join him for a drink. I accepted, believing it would be a quick, casual way to unwind before heading home. But that night, one drink turned into several, and the line I'd been tiptoeing around for months was finally crossed. We ended up back at his place, and I became part of a secret I knew would haunt me. The guilt was immediate, but I convinced myself that it was a one-time mistake, something I'd never let happen again. I told myself I loved David too much to let this slip-up ruin our marriage. But as the days passed, the shame I carried turned into a weight that felt unbearable. The worst part was facing David every day, pretending everything was fine while knowing that I'd betrayed his trust. But it didn't stop there. Against my better judgment, I fell deeper into the affair, drawn in by the excitement, the thrill, and the forbidden nature of it. I was torn between guilt and a kind of emotional high, a temporary escape from the responsibilities and routines of my life with David. And with each meeting, each secret text, I sank further into a situation I was losing control of. Months passed, and I became a different person, hiding parts of myself, lying, and distancing myself from David in ways I never thought possible. The guilt was constant, but I convinced myself that as long as he didn't know, no one would get hurt. I was wrong. One day, 2 years after it all began, David found out. I'll never forget the look on his face when he confronted me. He had gone through my phone, something he'd never done before, but I had been careless, and he found messages that told him everything he needed to know. I tried to explain, to offer some kind of justification, but there were no words that could ease the betrayal he felt. "Why, Sarah?" he asked, his voice breaking. "Why would you do this to us?" I tried to find an answer, but there wasn't one that would make sense. I'd betrayed his trust, jeopardized our marriage, and caused a pain that words couldn't heal. I watched as the love in his eyes was replaced by hurt, disappointment, and a kind of brokenness I'd never seen before. And in that moment, I realized just how much I'd lost. The aftermath was devastating. David moved out, and I was left alone with the wreckage of our life together. My once cozy home felt cold and empty, filled only with memories of what we used to have. The silence was suffocating, a constant reminder of the damage I'd caused. I reached out to him, apologizing, begging for a chance to make things right, but he was too hurt to respond. Over time, I started going to therapy, desperate to understand what had led me down such a destructive path. I faced parts of myself I'd long ignored, confronted my insecurities, and began the painful process of taking responsibility for my actions. It was a humbling experience, one that forced me to look at myself in ways I never had before. But even as I worked to become a better person, the loss of David lingered. I missed him every day, missed the life we'd built, and the future we'd dreamed of together. I realized too late that the temporary thrill of the affair was nothing compared to the love we had shared. And as the months turned into years, I came to accept that some mistakes can never be undone. 2 years later, I still live with the consequences of that choice. I still see David from time to time, though our interactions are polite and distant, a shadow of the closeness we once had. He's moved on, found someone new, someone who can give him the love and loyalty he deserves. And while I'm happy for him, there's a part of me that will always regret the choices that led us here. Looking back now, I understand that secrets have a way of surfacing, no matter how deeply they're buried. I've learned that true love is built on honesty, trust, and respect, qualities I failed to uphold in our marriage. And though I can't change the past, I hope that one day I'll find a way to forgive myself for the pain I caused. For now, I live with the memory of that day, the day my husband discovered my secrets and my world came crashing down. And I carry the lesson with me, a painful reminder of the cost of betrayal and the importance of the vows we make to those we love. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more watching videos.